Yeah, Ryan, moving on to the Western Conference, you talked about earlier, you love OKC, as do I. Have them coming out of the West. Love the pieces they added. Did you see Hartenstein just broke his hand or something? He's out a couple weeks.
5-6.
SGA MVP status last year took off. Jalen and Chet, budding stars. Is this team still too young, or are they built for a championship right now?
No, they're not. I mean, normally I would totally agree with you. You go through the history of young basketball teams that did well during the regular season. You're just like, I mean, there's a couple outliers, but traditionally decades and decades of results have told us that young teams. But the thing is, they already had the 1 seed in a brutal top of the West last year with 57 wins. If Jalen Williams, number one, I think his first run to the playoffs wasn't great, was inconsistent. If he's a little bit more seasoned, feels a little bit better, they probably win that Dallas series. Or if, PJ and Derrick Jones don't turn into Steph Curry. So there's a bounce here or there where they're in the NBA Finals already. So I think building off of that, and I didn't even realize that hard news until you just told me this morning. So what I loved about what they did is they really needed another option offensively, which seemed shocking. Maybe it's Kason Wallace, who showed us something last year, but Caruso's like a knockdown shooter. We know he's first or second team All-NBA defense, and the glaring statistical thing that they had that wasn't positive, because the rest of the statistical resume was like incredible for him, is that their rebounding rate was like 28th in the league. They just weren't getting balls because Chet, as much as we like him, he's just getting it handed to him certain nights and certain matchups, and to ask him to be the 5 all the time, like that's what I loved about the Hartenstein acquisition. So they really addressed a couple things there. So I think they're better. It may not reflect that in the record, but I think they addressed a serious weakness, and I think it'll be the floor of the younger players getting a little bit more season makes them even better too.
So we know they're going to be a top 3 team, at least in the Western Conference, let's say. Now, that means you get 2 All-Stars. Who's the second All-Star this year, Chet or Jalen? And by the way, is Kason not Kason? I learned some new stuff today too. Is it Kason?
No
Is it Kason Wallace?
Thank you, Ryan, for making him smarter.
I didn't know. Thought it was Kason.
No, it sounds better. Kason sounds cooler, anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I thought it was. I mean, sometimes I'll wait like 3 years. Remember Dan Gadzuric?
Yeah.
It was like 8 years later. I was like, thanks, dude. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Like we saw a dip on our viewers. Pick it back up. Let's see. I think one of the things that when I look at the rest of those teams, like, I just think they're more complete. And if we're talking about the second All-Star for it, yeah, it's Jalen Williams. I think he's on the cusp of being pretty special as a scorer.
Well,
I love that.
Maybe this will answer your question, because the Thunder, they have 5 potential first-round picks in the upcoming draft. If there's
It's
a
so
star,
unfair.
That's ridiculous.
But if there's a star out there that they should take a serious look at, who would be the star that they could add?
Wait, you mean, in like the trade market or something like that?
Absolutely.
Like, what's their need to even get even better than they already are? God, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, like, they didn't even want to go after a center last year while Dallas, went for it with Gafford and the PJ acquisition. And it appeared like, I've always kind of liked Gafford a little bit. Like, I understand, you're not going to be sitting there inducting him into the Ring of Honor for a franchise at any point, but like, he's a really nice player. And, that's the kind of guy, based on the price, like, here's Presti, which is just, Presti has gift cards in his pocket, and he's like, I still don't want to use them. So he didn't want to use them last year.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know. If I say like, hey, who's the big star that they can throw 3 picks at? I just wonder if Presti's like, well, I may not re-sign him, so do I really want to use 3 first? And by the way, they were just good enough, like right there, good enough to almost have already done it. And just to be totally transparent, I definitely forgot the second All-Star question, and I can't believe I figured out what you would ask me as I stalled for 10 seconds.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do television. That was a lesson.
I will say, I think they got the 2 pieces that make them better. Hartenstein and Caruso are 2 players that are
So what are you going to do with all the picks?
They know their roles. They're good.
Let's say this. Like, sorry, Chandler, but like, we'll just throw out a name for like the exercise. What if Miami's not good, which is always shocking because Spo's so good, and they go, we're not re-signing Jimmy Butler anyway, he's 35 years old or whatever. Like, can somebody give us a couple late first for him? Like, would you OKC wouldn't even, I don't even think they'd want to do that.
I don't think you consider it.
I think that stunts the growth of Jalen. I think that I think they just keep doing exactly.
So there's no one. I mean, I guess realistically.
It'd have to be a really, really good role player. I don't think you add any more star power to this. You're developing stars. You're creating stars already. Wow. SGA is already there. And like you said, you got Jalen Williams on the cuff. You have Chet Holmgren, who's going to have another year of experience under his belt. You have guys already in your system that can potentially be that already.
Totally. This has been brilliantly put together, this team. The fact that they just have extra pieces that they don't even need or want or make. It's been amazing to watch Presti sort of orchestrate this entire thing. Yeah, I think I have one as 1-2, by the way.
We haven't even seen Unleashed Ousmane Dieng yet. So.
I'm so glad you added that in. It would have not been a complete.
I don't know why Lou's laughing.
Because he's rude. That's why. Let's talk Timberwolves for a second.
We can't even talk about Lou Dort for 2 seconds here. Like,
I love Lou Dort.
Right. Isaiah Joe is a sniper.
Two first names.
But the list goes on and on.
I'm telling you.
I look at their depth chart and I'm like, I think Denver would kill for Kenrich Williams, or Aaron Wiggins. Like, there's some guys when you see them out there, and like, think about it. I'll ask you guys: do they close big with Chet and Hartenstein, or do they bring in Dort?
That's the luxury of what they have. Yeah, they're so versatile. They're so deep. Think about it. The only person they lost was Josh Giddey.
Yep.
That's it. Right? And they gained 2 valuable role players. They're still developing these young guys. They re-signed Isaiah Joe, who I think is an absolute stud. They're unbelievable with what they're doing.
Okay, so we have all that. Right, we know Oklahoma City, young, talented. I would not even say up and coming. They're here. We know what the Timberwolves did in the offseason, and we can never forget Anthony Edwards is walking on this planet. So next 5 years, you're buying stock in OKC or Minnesota. Who are you taking?
It has to be OKC. I like Ant better, but SGA's been better statistically. So it's kind of like, hey, who do you like better? Well, I'm going to lose the argument because it's fun. It's more fun to watch Ant, and his personality is like everything that I would want. I had a quote about him being like, he's everything about him is like what you want. They put it up in the Minneapolis airport.
Oh,
like,
what?
Yes.
That's
one of the most underrated airports in the world. So that was a big deal.
Is that
for my family?
Is that your new favorite airport?
Hold on a second, because I was about to ask you, I want your Ryen Russillo hottest take before the season gets started.
Oh, he just gave it.
But now, was that it?
That's my sizzler.
Yeah,
are you guys down? Do you not know it? Like, what's your deal? I don't. You can go anywhere from Minneapolis. Iceland's like 5 hours.
I'll be honest with you, Ryan. I haven't been to a commercial airport in Minnesota. Before. So.
Biggest snob.
No, I'm just calling a spade a spade. No, I'm just.
I like those kind of airports where you don't have to connect 17
Was there a Shake Shack in there? What we got? What are we dealing with?
No, but you can get to
I don't know that I've seen Beadle in 28B recently either, just for the record.
There's a 28?
My goodness.
Crap. What's going on back there?
It gets worse.
Ryen Russillo.
Holy smokes.
He's got the Ryen Russillo podcast right here. We will talk soon, Ryan. Thank you. We're taking a break.
Thanks, guys.
Fresh off of Game 3.
We're just getting started.
Nafisa Collier. God, I love that she's here.